Good morning, comrades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a surprise video, because of course we were supposed to have the first impressions video of this 993 CS model. And at first I thought I'm gonna pick up the car from Manthey, go on the track, do a first impression video, then do a quiet lap where I'm not talking but more focused on driving. But then Robert suddenly stopped by. I'm like, let's do the first lap together. Well, I'll be honest, I had already done like 3 or 4 laps. And one lap made a passenger of mine at the end of the lap cry from happiness.
It's probably not going to happen for me.
Probably not. No, I also didn't cry from driving. For that, the track needs to be closed for 6 months first.
To be fair, I'm very excited about this car. I was just being sarcastic. You know.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be cool to see what you think of it, and to see in this Saturday traffic if we can.
Now, to be fair, I told Misha he has to drive slow because I have a headache, so
yeah, that's my driver excuse.
Well, no, that's my passenger excuse.
Okay.
I told him I would only go out for a lap with him if he took it easy because I'm not feeling well today, but I'm still very excited.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is a 1995 993 and it's absolutely badass. I really like it. And a while ago when I got the E30 M3, I told Misha that I might be done with new cars, and I don't think I've bought a new car since then, other than the M2 competition, right?
M2 you bought? Oh, afterwards, you did buy it after. Yeah.
But I said I think I'm done with new cars for a while, because I want to get. I really enjoy the E30 so much that I want to get some classic stuff.
Yeah.
So I started looking at older Porsches. I know this isn't terribly old. A 1995 is, what are we talking? You know, it's not an 80s car. It's not a 60s car by any means. But this has a certain characteristic to it. When you guys see, you know, maybe make Misha's job real hard, just put some B-roll in here of the dash and stuff. But I just like this classic style dash. You know, the 992 is now going to all digital dashes and things like that.
Well, they do have analog ref counter. That's cool from them.
But it's, you know, everything's just going digital, and I really love a good old analog dash. I think it's just classic. It's something about it that when you think of starting an old car with just a single key, you know, and on the dash, and there's something to be said about that. And so yeah, I like this.
Yeah, definitely, I love it as well. And now, since I also unveiled my car, the E34, and honestly it's been one of the most difficult decisions, and I'm still in the process of the decision making. Like, what am I going to do with that car? You know, am I going to go full crazy, Team Shermer, mod spec, cage, everything?
Don't do it.
Exactly. So many people say don't do it. Or do I go like OEM plus, and after driving this, I'm like, yeah, this is all you need to have fun.
And that's the thing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going full build on something. I love it. Obviously, I've got a handful of them, but I think there's something to be said about a classic car, being able to use it on the road still and have fun with it.
Absolutely. I love the shifter.
How much power does this car have?
It should be close to 300,
okay.
I think. I'm not sure, I need to remember, but you feel the back end of it's like wanting to come out. But
yeah, so that's something that you have to work on with a Porsche, is there's a lot of cars that you can really trail brake later. And when a Porsche guy talks about trail braking, he's usually not talking about it like the same as some other cars are.
Look, it's our Golf.
Yeah. The McLarens, you basically trail brake until corner exit.
Yeah.
The Porsche, you can trail brake in very far, but you're back on the gas a little bit earlier, and you're settling weight back on the rear end to keep the rear end from actually swinging around. A lot of people are scared of throttle in a turn because they think it's going to whip the back of the car out, but really you're getting the weight transfer back on, not full throttle, but you're balancing the car out.
Yeah, I must say with the stock setup, it was impossible to do so because the engine was just like hanging loose somewhere.
Okay.
And like you go through the corner, you think you settled it, and then 3/4 through the corner, it just got nope. It's like decides to move somewhere else.
Feels really good.
But now that feels like completely good. Also like with the RS trailing arms.
Yeah.
Like earlier when the tires were warm and everything, it was going like 160 through here through Flugplatz. So it was
now
for an older car. It's
you guys might not know this, but you've probably seen a video where the E30 M3 was behind this, and this car absolutely destroyed the front end of the E30. Rock chips all over it, the windshield, the hood, everything. It was quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
Well, not funny, but you know, funny.
Quotation marks funny.
Yeah, funny. But it was really neat to watch from the outside, and I'd actually enjoy now seeing another lap to see how well it's planted. It feels really good, I'll say that. We're obviously just cruising, but this is a car that you don't have a ton of power in, but you can feel what the chassis is doing. But I would say that the suspension is spot on for this kind of driving. It's really cool.
It's really good. It's really, really good.
Very safe setup.
The gear ratio is quite long as well, because we're taking like second gear corners here. Also, Arenberg is second gear.
Second gear is something you normally want to avoid.
Yeah.
On a track like this, because it can be very low, but there are certain cars where you have to do it.
True.
Like the 218 might be first gear in some corners.
Yeah. What it's missing is like a lightweight flywheel or something to make those rev matches
come up faster.
Yeah, smoother.
It's a good drag racing car then. My drag racing days, we wanted nice heavy flywheels for getting off the line. You would kill the RPMs when you dump the clutch. Oh, red Yaris.
Yeah. I love the car. The more you drive it, the better you get with it.
Yeah, it feels really good.
It feels very planted. I mean, of course, but it's also interesting to see what the old cars with modern technology can do, because we have here the latest KWs on, we have the Reza tires. It's like basically like 5 generations of tires from when the car was released, you know?
At least 5, yeah.
And it's phenomenal. This brings also like all these, what's it called, arguments in the perspective, like, oh, if you put Cup 2Rs on the 918, it would go 20 seconds faster around the Nürburgring.
A lot of people don't realize that a lot of what we're seeing in lap times right now has to do with tire performance.
Absolutely.
The GT2R SMR is a very fast car, but you know what? Put a set of prototype Michelin slicks on it, from VLN or something, and you're going to have, you know, another 10 seconds cut off the lap time.
Yeah. So this car is very planted. The only section is like here where I'm kind of find like okay, it jumps a bit.
In these bounces
like,
right here.
But it's, at this point it's okay because we're slightly held up by the BMW behind us.
That's a very under-ring section of track anyway.
It is.
Because it is bumpier than a lot of people think there.
Yeah.
This is a car that had a lot of hype for a while and then just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, so the owner wants to put maybe like a 4-liter engine in here over winter.
Well, I think it'd be really cool for this car, but I think it would take away a lot in the sense that, you know, the GT86, for example, it's sometimes on this racetrack, there's a lot to be said about 200, 250, or 300 horsepower cars. When you start getting into higher horsepower,
because this section you can go flat with this car, you know?
Yeah.
And we're not even like using the brakes to its fullest, you know?
Right.
There's so much more into this, but it's just the flow that you get with this car is just so rewarding. That's all you need. No photographer, so okay, a bit of curve.
bad thing for me. I don't like the end of the season.
And we have only like what, 7 days left?
7 days of TF.
I think so.
The Nürburgring might extend a little bit. We'll see.
I heard that they might repave Döttinger.
Interesting.
Because it's also the bumpiest section of the track.
Yeah.
I would rather see them repave Mundkurve though.
The entrance to Mundkurve is kind of unsettling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that cleaned up, but it's part of the track, but at the same time, it's not necessary.
True.
So many people were really, I would say, annoyed that Schradenkreuz hump got knocked down, right?
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I've lost anything when doing laps.
Oh no.
And you know, we're big advocates of track safety and having more marshals and maybe a lighting system and things like that. We want to see faster and faster laps. Cars are getting faster. You know, 20 years ago when going sub 8 was a big thing,
Yeah.
the track was sufficient for that. But right now, I've got a handful, I mean, I don't even know how many cars I have that'll go well sub 7.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Do you ever do that?
No, I don't, but the fact that the cars do carry those speeds,
Yeah.
you need the track to be able to support it as well. In a time where this car, you know, was carrying, in many cases, 50 kilometers an hour slower speeds than the GT2 does,
Yeah.
maybe the track was sufficient at those points.
True.
The faster we get, we spoke about TF is getting faster. So, you know, if they're going to clean up Döttinger Höhe, where cars didn't used to go 300 kilometers an hour, now they do.
Yeah, but this is also another point what Christian from Manthey told me after I drove this car for the first time, and I said like, dude, that's like, it's really not good to drive. I mean, it was okay, but like to drive fast, it was like, it's like, well, imagine then 15 years ago or 20 years ago.
Shit tires.
Yeah, on shit tires when this car was new, with technology from back then, and the track was a lot bumpier.
Yeah.
Because they did so much resurfacing in the last 20 years. How impossible to drive was it back then? So it's just something to think about. So your verdict, what do you think of this?
I like it a lot. I'm going on mobile.de tonight.
It's gonna be one of those expensive laps.
There's a lot of things that are really cool about it. You know, when you go back to the older air-cooled cars, one of my biggest fears is losing coolant somewhere and, you know, a car slipping or something like that.
That's a good point,
you know?
actually. You
and
know?
this is something I've really spent a lot of time thinking about, getting an air-cooled car and not worrying about that kind of thing. You know, you still got to worry about oil, but
yeah.
that's much more rare than coolant. You know, and so that's one of the reasons I've thought a long time about going to an air-cooled Porsche, was that's
Safety.
one thing that I don't have to worry about.
Nice. Yeah, cool. Well, it was fun.
I like it.
It was very cool. Thank you for joining for this lap.
Thank you.
And then, yeah, you gotta go home.
Yeah, maybe I'll have my next Porsche Manthey-Racing car coming up soon, huh?
Yeah, who knows? You've been talking about this already for over a year now.
And it's something I haven't really said in many videos, but it's been over a year that you know, I wanted an older Porsche, and I wanted it to go to Manthey for a revision, and this
seeing what they can do now
definitely helps that thought.
Yeah.
But I gotta find out who did his interior, because it's really clean.
I'm sure we can ask the owner.
Really clean.
Yeah, it's nice. Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope this GoPro recorded, because sometimes it doesn't like to. More importantly, I hope you also didn't mind a bit of a weird angle, because it's a thing with older cars. It's so narrow to find the proper camera position to put two people in the shot. It was actually quite challenging. So there's that. But in any case,
so if I look funny, that's why.
Yeah, it's because you're probably on the edge of the wide angle lens.